Bing-Agsaoay. Dr. Agsaoay is a rehabilitation medicine specialist and a clinical associate professor in the College of Medicine. She's also an advisory board member of the Institute on Aging, NIH, UP Manila. Let us all welcome Dr. Dorothy.
Hello, good afternoon to all. Thank you, Ma'am Carla, for the introduction, and thank you also to the organizing committee for inviting me to give this short talk. This will be fun. I'm tasked to discuss conducting functional reach and climb up and go and grip strength test. So why do we need to do this test? So big question, conducting this test. What is it for? Mainly, the importance of conducting this functional test is to assess the postural stability, predict fall risk, and risk for fractures among elderly, and of course, assess frailty. We've been talking about frailty the whole day, right? And we know that frailty is one of the geriatric syndrome. It's a clear, distinct syndrome that is prevalent among older individuals, among our seniors, and it is highly associated with increased risk for falls, disability, hospitalization, and of course, mortality. Now, from the frailty index, for physical frailty, you should have 3 that are present out of 5 to say that an individual is frail. So, the criteria will include unintended weight loss in the past year, self-reported exhaustion, so in a self-reporting low energy, and then weakness, slow walking speed, and low physical activity. Low physical activity meaning mostly sedentary, sitting, lying down. And of course, when we say unintended weight loss, this should be more than 4.54 kg or more than 10 pounds in the past year. And then when we talk about weakness, it's not just the usual weakness, it's a grip strength weakness. And if it's slow walking speed, then we have to do the time up and go test. So that will be our way of assessing if there is a slow walking speed. And of course, you've known that to interpret whether there is a presence of frailty, again, you should have the 3 criteria, 3 to 5 criteria to say that an individual is frail. But if you only have 2 out of the 5, then an elderly is categorized as pre-frail. But if there's none, then that means an elderly who was at 70 years old or 80 years old can still be robust. If there is none of them are present. All right. So one of the tests that we need to do to check for weakness is to do a grip strength test. And the tool or the device that is needed is to have a Jamar dynamometer. So medyo specialized siya kasi you need to have that to be able to do an objective grip strength test. And of course, there's a video right here that we will be playing so that you would know how we conduct a grip strength test. So for the grip strength test, you need this. So if you notice, the examiner will ask the patient to hold onto the dynamometer where the patient or the individual is seated comfortably, and then you have to assess both bilateral hand. So we have to also document which hand is the dominant hand, which one is not. And we have to get 3 trials. So from the 3 trials, you have to take note of that and you get the average. Alright, so the mean value, so these are the reference value that we take note of for Southeast Asian at the age of 6 to 70 decade of life. The range of the hand grip test should be around 24 to 33 kg for males and a mean of 29 kg. And for females, there's a range of 14 to 21 kg and a mean of 18. So this is for Southeast Asian nation. Compared it to our local UP Manila Wellness Initiative for seniors and elders, there is a lower value, wherein for males to say that there is a hand grip weakness, there should be less than 14.52 kg, and for females, there should be less than 10 to 43 kilogram. Now, in contrast to the mean value of 29 kg for the Southeast Asian nation, and then for the 18 kg for female. So these are our guide to say whether our elderly has hand grip strength weakness. And why is it important to know the grip strength? Well, it is associated with developmental disability. There's also association with prolonged length of hospital stay, as well as the increased likelihood of premature mortality. So most of the time, we think of, elderly, dapat nagpapahinga na lang, relax na lang. But one thing that we also need to reiterate is they need to make use of their hands, no? And do a lot of things, but of course not to the point of hurting themselves, but there should be certain activity that will maintain the strength of their grip. No? So that is one of the things that we also have to take note, especially when we deal with elderly. Okay, moving on is the time up and go test. So this is another video to illustrate time up and go test to determine the walking speed of an elderly. So, okay. So, you take note that in a time up and go test, what are the tools that you need? Of course, you need a sturdy chair, you need a stopwatch, you need a cone or a bottle to serve as a marker, and you have to measure 3 meters or 10 feet, no, for you to be able to conduct a time up and go test. And of course, the patient should be wearing something that is comfortable for her footwear or his footwear, like rubber shoes, and ensure that, of course, the environment is safe for our elderly. Most of the time, we conduct time up and go tests for those who are very active individuals, doesn't use any supporting or mobility device. But if they need to, then we also can conduct a time up and go test with a mobility device. So here in a paper by E.J. Gorgon, he also mentioned about a preliminary reference values for those aged 60 to 69 years of age with a mean value of 10.3 seconds for males and females of 11 seconds mean value for time up and go test. While for those aged 70 to 79 year of age, the mean value is 10.7 seconds, the speed, while for females of 7 to 79 year of age is 11.8 seconds. So what is the interpretation then? No? So for us to say that a patient or an elderly is prone to fall, that means that, or at risk for falls, that means that their time up and go test should be greater than 12 seconds. So our cut-off for to say that you're still safe and our elderly is still safe should have 10 seconds to be assured that there is no risk for fall. But if, so madali ang tandaan, 10, 12, 14. 10 ang cut-off, 10 seconds to say that an elderly is safe, there's relatively no risk for falls. But if the time up and go test turned out more than 12 seconds, then the elderly is already at risk for falls and high risk for falls if it's more than or equal to 14 seconds. No? So in other words, what does it tell us? In other words, elderly who is walking slowly are actually dangerously slow because they might also, this already shows that they are actually at risk for fall. Akala natin, sige, maglakad kayo ng mabagal, okay yan. Pero pag sobrang bagal, pwede rin silang matumba. No? Kasi baka matabig sila, no? When they're out in the park or in other environments. So we have to be vigilant in monitoring them as well. All right. So again, no, going back to the frailty index, we already noted that for weakness, we check the grip strength, and for walking speed, we take note of the time up and go test to say that if, again, more than 12 seconds in their walking speed, that means they are at risk for falls, but their grip strength, if it's less than 14.52 kilograms for males, and if female females is less than 10.43 kilograms for females, then they are already at risk for fall. So that's already two criteria. And then coupled plus the other criteria like say low physical activity, so additional one that already gives you the category that this elderly is already frail. Kasi nga minimum of three out of the five criteria to say that an elderly or older person is already frail. Alright, so yan, no? And then finally, okay, we have the functional reach test. Now, the last test that we also need to do to assess the postural stability as well and as well the risk for falls. No? So how do we do functional reach test? Watch this video again. The park or in other environments. So we have to be vigilant in monitoring them as well. All right. So again, no, going back to the frailty index, we already noted that for weakness, we check the grip strength, and for walking speed, we take note of the time up and go test to say that if, again, more than 12 seconds in their walking speed, that means they are at risk for falls, but their grip strength, if it's less than 14.52 kilograms for males, and if females is less than 10.43 kilograms for females, then they are already at risk for fall. So that's already two criteria. And then coupled plus the other criteria like say low physical activity, so additional one that already gives you the category that this elderly is already frail. Kasi nga minimum of three out of the five criteria to say that an elderly or older person is already frail. Alright, so yan, no? And then finally, okay, we have the functional reach test. Now, the last test that we also need to do to assess the postural stability as well and as well the risk for falls. No? So how do we do functional reach test? Watch this video again. So for functional reach test, the tool that we need mainly is a tape measure. No? So we have to have a tape measure that is posted in a wall, and of course that's where the functional reach test can be conducted, and we have to ensure that ideally the patient or the elderly should be comfortably standing, whether barefoot. As mentioned there, it should be barefoot, and the width or the width of the feet should be at the level of the shoulder. And then when they want to raise their arm, it's also at the shoulder level. So that's one way to conduct. And then the facilitator will now instruct the patient to reach forward at maximum without falling and without also nearing the wall or trying to rest on the wall. No? So that's not allowed for you to conduct a functional reach test. So it's easy. It could be done anywhere, no? In the barangay hall, in the clinics, it's easily done. So yes, so one of our facilitators right here right now, Ma'am Gaylene. So there's your photo there, conducting our previous activity in another center. Yeah. So the model or our participants also conducting performing the functional reach test. Now with Ma'am Gaylene trying to put a mark up to what is the reach of the participants. So, what's the interpretation? So we have this reference value for functional reach test, especially for Filipino. For 20 to 40 years of age, it's around 32.47 centimeter. So converted into inches, if you're more used to the inches, it's 12 inches, right? So if it's 41 to 69 years of age, it's around, the mean value is 28.1 centimeter. That's roughly around 11 inches. While for the 70 to 87 years of age, it's around 20.3 centimeters. So that's roughly 7 inches. Now, for the females, Filipino, you have also that reference value. You have a range, and then the mean functional reach distance should be for 20 to 40 years of age should be around 24.21 centimeter. That's roughly around 9 inches. Now, for 40 to 69 years of age, the mean value, the mean distance should be around 21.18 centimeter. That's roughly 8 inches. While for 70 to 87 years of age, you have the range there, and the mean distance should be around 18.85 centimeters, roughly around 7 inches. So how do we interpret who and when will we say that we have a problem, no, and the patient will be might be at risk for fall also? So if a person will have less than 8 inches or less than 20.32 centimeter reach, then this significantly increases that person's risk for falls, no? Especially for community dwelling individuals. So we have to, we can easily conduct the test. Of course, for Jamar test, we want the facility should need to acquire one, but the two, it's easy to conduct that, no? In your clinic, in your barangay hall, in your classroom. That's also possible. So that's it, no, for my conducting the lecture on conducting the different functional tests. And with that, let's aim for active aging and healthy aging. Thank you very much. So here's my acknowledgement. Thank you very much.